right, here we are in an absolutely beautiful Newport Beach morning. What a beautiful spot to do a 1942 Packard 160 convertible. Extremely rare. This car has been judged and is an AACA junior. It's a well-documented car. It's been in the Packard magazine in winter of 1980 and 81. They talk about these convertibles, and this car is specifically mentioned in it. It's finished in its original color, which is called a Cadet Cream. It's actually a pale yellow. This car comes out of a collection here in Newport Beach. This gentleman insists that he drives this car. Everything works. All the lamps, everything functions like it's supposed to. In fact, this car has Electromagnet semi-automatic manual transmission on it, which is a switch on the dash, and we'll actually walk you through that and how it works. A lot of guys say they don't work. This one does work. Everything works on this car. It's a documented. We're going to walk up here and just cross-verify a look-see on the dash here, and we'll actually cover it when we get inside too. 35,472 miles at the time of inspection right now. It's again finished in a Cadet Cream. We're going to step back here and kind of give you a feel of the side of it. It's got a brand new, within the last year or two, soft canvas top with a cognac trim on it that matches the cognac interior in it, the leather interior. This car, over the years, it's got a neat little history as we go around here. In the magazine that I spoke about a few moments ago, A.E. and Christine Roddy owned this car out of Tennessee, and they sold it to a Betsy Williams, who was a fanatic about only doing, it was an actual mile car, and it's documented as actual miles. Really didn't need a restoration, so it received a body-on style restoration, and it's absolutely spectacular lacquer finish. It's beautiful, but Betsy was a fanatic when it came to NOS parts, and Ray here, the current owner, purchased it from Betsy, and then he further refined the car, making sure everything was working. There were still little things to do. Betsy had passed away, and he's owned it since I've got my notes here, 2012, like May of 2012, and since that time he's had the car judged and critiqued by Packard judges. In 2013 in Palm Springs, it actually drove from Newport Beach 120 miles to Palm Springs to enter the event, where it's won its first junior award. It received 400 points out of 400 points. It had no deductions on it. We're going to show you the badge here. Cover it there. It has a lot of nice factory options. One of them, the clutch, the automatic clutch that we talked about here. These fans on the front, or the grill vents on the front, are fully functional. We took a picture of it this morning before we got out. These open up like they're supposed to. They actually are closed, and it's all Brightworks, just beautiful on it. It's very rare Packard fog lamps on them. You'll see road fog lamp here. Again, the Brightwork is just beautiful on the front. The headlights have been converted to a halogen beam, or excuse me, an LED beam. All the marker lights work. You'll see photos that I have throughout the deal where I've covered the lights, all functional. It has very expensive bias ply looking radial tires on it, wide white wall radials. Talking about the awards, 2013 Palm Springs AACA Junior, no point deduction. In 2014 it won a national award for outstanding vehicle, and they only selected 4, or they select 4, it's like their top 4, and that was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It also won the 2014 San Marino Motor Classic, first in class, CCCA sponsored event in Pasadena, California. Very prestigious event. It's a beautiful car. Clearly will be the finest on the market. They only built about, according to that winter article I have, and I will publish it at Spud's Garage for you to review, in the winter of 80 or 81, they talked about the existence of these cars, or at least the convertibles, which would be the 110, the 120, and the 160. At that time they had estimated about 133 of these 160s were built. They estimated that about there were 1,565 convertibles built total. Anyway, I'll go through the specs and we'll cover that there. The 110 is about 457, the 120 is about 960, and the 160 is only 160 cars were produced, and then about 15 Darrens. Their survival rate is less than 10%. Very few cars. In that article, you know, there's cars that have come up since then, so I don't know the exact numbers, and a Packard guy would be able to tell you that. But this is a very special car. This Betsy Williams had spent years doing it, and I believe she was a judge, or her family, up in Northern California. And I helped Ray acquire this car in 2012 and went up and did an inspection for him. Beautiful car, all the door handles and everything. These running boards will actually have it up on the lift here. They're all NOS components. Actually drove Dragon crazy with wanting NOS stuff, and it was a long process. He had the car about 10 years, and then it was retrieved to another shop where they would finish it when she was trying to find more NOS components. All the dash is beautiful. The radio's been converted. We'll actually cover that with you. The cognac leather interior is string tight and just beautiful. Door jamb to door jamb. Just, you kind of get the idea. This is a really special car. I'm just trying to give you as much information as possible. The top is fully functional. Everything works like we talked about. It has dual start functions we'll cover in the video. Transition year, and this car ended up with both switches in it. Factory skirts. I'm going to show you the door just shuts super easy. Ray, would you mind shutting the door for me there? Just like a bank vault. It's the same way on all of them. We're getting a little bit of traffic here this morning all of a sudden, but we've had some glorious time documenting this car, doing the photo shoot and stuff. You can see the reflections here. All the trim, bright work, the fit and finish, the lacquer on this car is just, you can see the reflections in it. This license plate, the California license plate, does go with the car if you're a California buyer. It is an extremely rare 1942 California plate. They didn't make a lot of these because of the war. This car was sold 12/17 of 41, 10 days just after Pearl Harbor. These cars quit production in the end of December of 1941 because of the war. That magazine I was talking about references car number 2027, which is this one. It was known as the oldest and lowest mile 160 in known at the time, and the miles are documented as actual on the car. It's received just beautiful preservation on the car. I hope you're enjoying the video. We're going to cover a lot on this video. It'll be a long video. If you're interested in this car, you want a fully functional Packard where every courtesy light, everything works, and every rare option works, this car is the car. Very special. Cognac leather interior is just really kind of nice and pleasing with this cadet cream. Back seat wise, these seats are heavy, the doors are heavy. This car is a big, beautiful car. Again, drove from Newport Beach to Palm Springs for an event, and then won its junior class award with no deductions. We'll cover all these switches on the dash with the video portions here with Ray. I'm not going to fire it up here. We fired it up multiple times. We're just going to get in and cover it. All the gauges are functional. Attempting not to put my feet on the NOS running boards, which are extremely rare. You see the visors were done. I'm trying to pick up some light to give you a feel. Radio's been converted by Hot Rod Electric. We'll walk through that for you. The receiver, Bluetooth receivers right there. Vintage Packard compass. 35,472 miles at time of inspection, and those are actual to this car. Electro clutch switch. You'll see the red pedal there for the electro clutch. Instrument panel lights. I believe that's a heater rheostat right there. Emergency brake. Again, everything works. Look at the crest here. I'll say it Coramont. Is that right? Anyway, we think you get the idea. The top is fully functional. We're not going to operate it. We'll tell you it does work, and it does work. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. Go to spudsgarage.com. Hang on to the end of this video. We're going to cover a lot, and we're also going to get this beauty up on the lift. Have a great day. Excellent car for anybody's collection. Okay. All right, we're going to show you the operation of the Electromagnet clutch, the first semi-automatic basically for ladies to use. Anyway, you'll notice that the pedal, show me the pedal, Ray, is got tension to it right there. And he's going to take us through the process.
Now we're going to engage the electromagnet clutch by pressing this switch on the dash in. You'll hear some noises under the hood, which is disengaging this clutch pedal, which now renders it useless. Okay, so now it's engaged. I'm going to proceed to put it in gear without using the clutch. It's now in first gear. Didn't use the clutch, it did it automatically. Now I will tap the accelerator pedal and we can move. See it?
Car just moved, yep.
Okay. Put it back in neutral. We can actually put it in reverse. Go in.
Okay, it's in reverse.
Most people say it doesn't work in reverse, but we proved them wrong.
Should just move there.
There we go.
So all without using the clutch, electromatic.
Put it back in neutral, disengage it again, and it goes back to normal operating use with the clutch.
And now the pedal's fully functional like that.
In 1941, it was the last year that they used the starter switch on the dash, and they went in 42 to a starter switch in the accelerator pedal. This car happens to have both. So during the transition years, 41 to 42, you had the war going on. A lot of things were different, but I'm going to show you how they both work. Turn the ignition on, hit the starter button, and it works. The new method, in 42 and on, you turn the ignition on and just pressed on the gas pedal, and it started. So that's the new modern way, but this car does it both ways.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and take us to your radio since you got it running, Ray?
Okay. This radio has been converted to an AM/FM stereo radio with Bluetooth. Factory look, but new high fidelity sound.
Greenway Park, May 3rd, as Phoenix, the Yeah-Yeah-Yeahs, and many more.
You're 60 years old.
It's got a rear speaker in it.
I think those were all things that she considers her nighttime spectacle of light music and
all the switches work.
And some of the items that are included with it. There's a box behind me that has some documents in it, and the AACA Junior Class Awards on it. Here's an article dated winter 1980 to 81. The Packard Cormorant. I'll get that right. I told you I'll probably get corrected and make errors. Here's the original tag. We covered that when we were under the hood. The color of this car is Cadet Cream, number 4492, right here. You kind of get the color, which is a yellow, pale yellow. There's a full article on the convertibles in here, which we want to talk about. And this car is actually mentioned in it, and they talked about the low survivorship rate of these cars. There's not a lot on the 110s, the 120s, and the 160s. According to this article, there were 133 of these made, and it goes into great detail. We'll actually scan this at Spud's Garage and cover it with you. I read it several times. This particular car is mentioned here, and it's this car number 4 here is what I believe. This is it actually starts on the order among the 160s. Easily the oldest and lowest mileage is on AF Roddy's car number 2027, which is the car that's right here. We're covering that for you. They talked about the 160s at this time in 1980. There were 9 known, and we know there's more than that now. The high number was 133 production, and only 6.76 again in 1980. But this article is an interesting article, and we'll cover it for you. There's documentation in the file here from Mrs. Roddy to the owner prior to this owner, and we have some documentation on that. And it goes into the article. The article just kind of goes in and talks about these the 110 model, the 120 model, and the 160 model. We went over the colors with you. Again, we're going to have this at Spud's Garage for you to go over. And I know, I'm sure I made errors. Here's a 6-volt service light, emergency service light, tune-up repair manual. That's an original. That's a reproduction suggestions for operation, and a manual on operating the electromatic transmission, which we're going to show you here in a few moments. There's a tonneau cover for when the top's down, an extra fan belt. If you look at this finish on the trunk, what they did is really neat back in the day, and I'm sure it's an exact reproduction, and when they restored it, is like a felt-like feeling to the finish that they put on the deck lid. It's a spray. It has an audio system in it, factory audio system, but it's been updated a little bit, so it's a nicer speaker. This is an original Packard bag and jack. Jack's in the bag. Again, that felt coating is here. You can kind of feel it. It's kind of neat. Full spare tire underneath. Anyway, we think you get the idea. Let me cover the bottom side of the deck lid and I'll carry on with the video for you. Bottom side of the deck lid is finished just like the other. The rest of the car, it has a, I believe that's a cargo lamp here. He turned it on. You turn it around so I can photograph the other side of the car. You can't even hear it run. This Packard's just elegant. Notice how the grill vents are open for cooling now. Alright, we're going to get you underneath the hood here. Just an absolutely elegant car, inside and out. This car is just gorgeous. Everything works on the car like we talked about during the walk around. We're going to cover the data tag here for you. This is a reproduction data tag. The original's right here, and you'll see that it matches. VIN number is 1579-2027. All the 160 VIN numbers begin with this 1579. Park Motor Company, Motor Car Company in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Delivery date 12/17 of 41, which would have been about 10 days after Pearl Harbor. Here's the original tag, which is included with the car. So these would have been the dealer stamp area, and this is the factory VIN, which also is a full match to what you see there. Fit and finish throughout this car is just unbelievable. As we share the engine here with you, it's a 365 cubic inch straight 8-cylinder. It has a aluminum cylinder head on it. They were a high compression Packard. You'll see the HC on the cylinder head there. 160 horsepower, all aluminum cylinder head, right? I know I'm going to cover a few things in the books in the trunk. The owner was just sharing me a note in one of the owner's manuals. Completely rebuilt in 1999 at 32,649 miles. We'll actually share that in the book with you. All factory air filter here. Here's the Electromatic automatic manual transmission controls here, which are fully functional. You'll see it all has all factory cloth wiring. The distributor itself has been converted to Petronics. See all the factory wiring here. Caution, do not wash or oil. This was a vent, I believe, here. You'll see the factory dual horns there. The air filter housing here, which is an oil bath air filter housing. Give you a look down in the compartment here. That clutch is just amazing. They're Electromatic, fully functional. A lot of guys that say those don't work, we are going to show you that it works on this car. Huge V-belt. They have 9 main bearings in these engines, so they're super smooth. Here's the thermostatic control for the grill vents that open up as the car warms up. We have pictures before and after at Spud's Garage for you to look at. The bottom side of the hood is beautifully finished in a matte black. Go side to side here, we'll cover it with you. It has a Stromberg downdraft carburetor on it. You'll see how all the hardware appears to be correct here. In other words, it's not all painted up or anything in original hardware. This is an original mile car, documented. You'll see the factory harnesses over here, junction block from the factory. Again, the HC on the cylinder head here, it's a Stromberg downdraft carburetor, 2-barrel carburetor. Again, fit and finish throughout is just simply amazing on this car. This gentleman's very meticulous, makes sure everything works on his car, and I know I've said that multiple times during the walk around. Original radiator tag here, exhaust manifold. We'll kind of give you a peek down the side here. I'm sure by now you're getting the idea. Ray, would you mind firing it up so we can hear it run here? Starts right up, you can barely hear it run. Whisper quiet. Anyway, we think you get the idea. Okay, just a short little clip. I pointed this vent out earlier. This is actually a vent for the Electromagnet automatic manual transmission. And I want to share another thing here the owner pointed out to me. This is actually a cooling tube that they designed that blows back air through this tube and blows away the crankcase ventilation. Absolutely incredible. All right, as promised, we'd get it up on the lift here with you. We've got it back down at the collection, and we're going to share the undercarriage. Top to bottom, this is just a really special car. Very solid, 35,000 actual mile car. Received a body on style restoration. You really don't want to take the bodies off these chassis. Then the doors don't fit like we showed you during the walk around. All factory cloth wiring front to back. The factory bottom side of the body is coated from the factory. The chassis is a matte black. We'll get you up in the wheel wells here. You'll see the nice refinish and how solid this car is. All splash pans are in place. It has the shock guards still in place in the back here. I'm not sure how many of those have survived the test of time. Factory exhaust, factory panhard bar here in the back, parallel leaf springs. Again, get up in the wheel well here. We're going to cover every square inch of this. It's had an electric helper fuel pump, so extended storage. You can get some gas to the carburetor without ranking on the starter forever. Floor pans here. Factory rear differential. It has automatic overdrive in it and electromatic clutch we've talked about extensively. Gonna give you a good feel here. Notice the running boards here. We talked about NOS running boards. There's the NOS tag. We'll show you the part number on the other side. Show you up here the inner rockers. I believe those are seat belt attachment points. Covering here, this is a battery tender hanging down here. It's had the helper fuel pump added here that I talked about just a moment ago. NOS running boards, part number 35. I don't know if that's a 6 or an 8, or those are 6s or 8s, but you get an idea. Those are the factory stamp on it. We'll show you the inside, the frame rail here. Cloth wiring, front to back. Batteries located right here, 6-volt battery. Factory harness wiring here. All the factory splash pans are in place here. Those are typically taken off, and mechanics never put them back on because they didn't really see a need. But there is a need. That's why the factory designed them. Get you up on the fender well here, front fender well. Like all the louvered vents on these bottom pans. Pan right there underneath the steering box. Again, 35,000 actual mile car. Go over here to the passenger side wheel well. You're getting a really good look at this car, front to back, top to bottom, operational. I love doing cars like this. I love my gig on days like this. This is just a fun car to do. Very dry underneath this car. Alright, he's taking it away. Could be going to your garage, that's for sure. He's taking it back to his garage. Make sure you go to Spud's garage.